Life with me, Reverend Lee. Every day, we talk about questions, things that can cause our life to take a change, however way we want it to go. So the statement I made today is how you show up matters. That's right. It's not what you do, it's how you show up when you do it. You see, how you show up determines all of your relationships. It determines the experiences you have in those relationships. You may want to say, hey, it's the other person. It's the other person causing this, but no, how you show up. If you show up as a victim, that other person's actions will affect you differently. If you show up empowered and loving, you'll just understand that that person's just being who they are. And you're really not going to let it affect you. But if you show up as an unauthentic version of you, whoever you're showing up with knows it. You can't hide the energy that you put out. People immediately know. Think about this. Dogs are the smartest. And what I understand is that the dog will sense whether your energy is friendly or hostile. If a dog backs away from you, maybe it's really skittish, but most of the time it's your energy. The same thing's true with a baby. It's interesting how I can be with a baby one day and it's really great with me, and the next day it's not great with me. And I realize it's the energy I'm putting out. That's the key thing to understand. So wherever you are, whoever you're with, whatever you're doing, if you start to become more aware of the energy that you're emitting, you'll understand why you're having that particular experience that you're having. Even when you're dealing with a business and they've made a mistake, if you're dealing with them in a respectful way, in an understanding way, open to receive them correcting their mistake, you'll have a different experience than someone who goes and just beats the tar out of them. I'd rather be kind, be understanding, because it seems to benefit me. My experience is that because I am that, it works for me. When I go out and I'm not that, and I haven't done that in quite a long time, at least not consciously. If I go out and I'm not that kind, understanding, loving Lee, man, the experience I have is not one I want. Here's a key thing. Also, how you show up matters, because if someone is so far a vibration away from you, if they're in a completely different vibration, you won't be with them very long. You'll know that it's not right to be with them. I do that all the time with my family members, with my wife. Almost always we are in a good vibrational place with each other. But there are times when one of us is just off center. And we've got an understanding that we can speak to each other. And one of the things we do is go meditate. We tell each other to go meditate when we're not in vibration. And sometimes, when Gene will say that to me, it ticks me off. But I know that she's right. Because we're not in vibration. I can feel it. I can sense it. I can know it. And so I do go meditate. And sometimes, because people are not in vibration with you, how you show up so matters, because you'll just give them time and space. You'll leave them. You'll go to a different part of the house. Go to someplace different. You won't be with them. Sometimes showing up means not showing up. Now there's, I guess, an oxymoron. How you show up matters, and sometimes it's better, based on the situation, not to show up. Think about this. What if you were a part of a family that the gatherings were really toxic and you've changed, and you are no longer a toxic person. You no longer can tolerate the toxicity. If you stay, there's a possibility that your light, that your love may shift the interactions of people. There's also a possibility that it doesn't, and it can affect you. So then you have the ability to make a choice. Do I bring my light and let someone put a cover over it, which in turn can affect my mood, or do I just stay away? Remember something. This is really a key thing to remember. You are always at choice in whatever you do. You say, but Lee, I've got this job. I hate this job. You're a choice as to whether to go out and find a different job. But remember, the experience you have in the job is also a reflection of who you are. So you better question before you go looking for another job. Question, am I being the person? Am I being the person I want to be in the job? Or am I bringing in prior resentment, prior dislike? Good questions. I like to always, when something's not going my way, I like to look in the mirror and say, is it you, Lee? Most of the time, it's Lee. If it's not Lee, then I go, oh, then this situation is not the right situation for me. Have you had people in your life that were once really a big part of your life? And then for whatever reason, you changed, they changed, and they're no longer a big part of your life? And you look back and you wish they were, but then you've got to look back and you've got to sort of say, well, why were they a part of my life? What was the benefit that I was receiving? What was the benefit they were receiving? Chances are what was happening is you were staying stuck. You were in quicksand. You weren't going anywhere. Or maybe they weren't going anywhere. Because sometimes you leave the relationship. Sometimes they leave the relationship. It's not always about you. Way to go, Zach. Zach just said, I just quit my job because my boss was a drunk. My mom said I should have kept my job, but now I found a job making double. You're making more money. Hopefully you find a boss who's not a drunk. That's really important. Find a boss who treats you like a human being, that treats you with respect, that values what you put in, and that you're working with like-minded people that you get along with. That's important in a job. And so to be that, you've got to be that person that gets along with people. You've got to be that person that respects his boss so his boss can respect you. It's about how you show up. When I was on my cruise with my granddaughter, it was real important for me to remember not to show up as an adult. Did you just hear what I said? Because she's not even 5 yet. She'll be 5 later this week. She doesn't want an adult around her. She wants someone to play and joke and have fun. So how I showed up with Claire determined my experience of Claire. So I had to be consciously aware of how am I showing up with this young little girl. I showed up as a young little Lee, someone who wanted to play, someone who had an imagination, someone was open to doing new things, someone who wasn't just a sticky, grumpy old person. You ever looked around how many stinky, young, old, grumpy people there are? Oh my God. It just blows my mind. Let me ask you this question, gang. Are you a grumpy old person? You may not be old, but are you a grumpy person? Do you go in seeing the glass half empty? Do people want to be around you? Good questions. Thanks, Skip. Appreciate the remark. Anita says, release the child within. What did the Bible say? I'm not a great scholar on the Bible. I'm not a Bible guy. Bible said can't get into heaven unless you've got the mind of a child. In other words, you can't be a grumpy old person. Anita goes, guilty. Guilty as charged with my own kids. Here's a tip, Anita. I've raised 2 boys. Let me give you the best tip. Pretend you're their grandmother. See how you act differently. Ooh, I wish someone had given me that tip. Because I'm the best grandfather. I'm the best Baba that ever existed. You know who taught me that? My mother. When I was being raised, my mother was the strictest Italian Catholic you could ever imagine. I was grounded. I was whooped. I was everything. I was never hugged. I was never told I was loved. But when my mother became Nona, the grandmother, I said, who is that woman? Who is that woman? That isn't the woman that raised me. And my mother said, Lee, I just didn't know any better. And you know what? She changed me. And I am so grateful. So grateful. Well, someone was saying, Lee, I didn't like those short videos you did while you were on the cruise. You want me to go to the longer ones? Well, today I've kicked it. I've gone over 12 minutes talking to you today. Know that I'm here every morning. I don't often invite you to do things, but hey, if you're on Facebook, on YouTube, why don't you hit that like button, that love button? Why don't you share this every once in a while? Why are you holding me hostage to you? Why not share a little lead with everyone and let them see me? You could say, hey, I know this guy. He's got this new way of looking at things. Well, it's not new, but it's a different way from most people. I like it. Stand unique. Be unique. Don't try to fit in. Be you, but be an energy that shows up as love. Be kind today. That's a great step today. Here's your work for the day. Be kind today and start by being kind with yourself. With that, make it a great day, everyone. Much love.